Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing another deep dive today, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh.
We're looking at Formula One today.
Okay. Sounds good.
Some interesting stuff's been happening, and we've got these articles here. Actually, they're from a Spanish sports publication.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but don't worry, they've been translated just for you, of course.
Right.
And I want to give a special shout out to anyone listening from the F1 Blogs YouTube channel.
Awesome. Yeah.
So basically, we're gonna take these articles and kind of dig into like, what's the most interesting stuff? What should you know about what's going on in Formula One right now?
All right.
So first up, we've got Carlos Sainz Jr. He just had his farewell at Ferrari.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like they really sent him off in style.
Who so?
He let his dad, Carlos Sainz Sr.
Oh, wow. The rally legend?
Yeah, take a 2022 Ferrari F1 car out for a spin.
No way. What? At Fiorano?
Yeah, their private test track.
That's amazing.
I know, right? So Sainz Sr., obviously, he's a master on dirt and gravel. But how do you think those skills translate to, the high-speed world of Formula One?
Well, what's funny is the articles mention that Sainz Jr. was joking about, like, potential damage costs. And his dad's driving.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it seems like Sainz Sr. adapted pretty quickly.
Oh, wow.
Even Charles Leclerc was impressed by his lap times.
Wow. So even though he's leaving, Ferrari Sainz Jr. still has that good humor.
For sure.
And that competitive spirit, especially when it comes to family.
Yeah, it's great.
But, his departure does kind of bring up an interesting question.
What's that?
The articles mentioned that Sainz Jr. knew he was losing his seat for a while now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How do you think that affected his performance throughout the season?
That's a good question. James Hinchcliffe, he's a former IndyCar driver and current F1 analyst. He pointed out that Sainz Jr. raced with all his heart, even after he knew he was out.
Really?
Yeah, he even won a couple of races after the decision was made.
Wow.
It really says a lot about his professionalism and dedication.
Yeah. It's amazing how he didn't let that news, derail his drive.
Absolutely.
Think about it. Remember his win in Australia, just 2 weeks after he had that appendectomy.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was that victory in Mexico where he overtook Verstappen aggressively after losing the lead at the start.
Oh, that was an amazing race.
I know, right?
Sainz Jr. is such a fighter.
Yeah, those moments really highlight his resilience.
Yeah, for sure.
He could have easily let the disappointment get to him. But he didn't. He just kept pushing.
It makes you wonder how these drivers, compartmentalize these personal challenges and deliver such incredible performances on the track.
It's pretty remarkable.
For sure. It's like they have this mental switch.
It's amazing. And it's interesting that Leclerc himself acknowledged Sainz Jr.'s contributions to the team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he highlighted their teamwork and how they pushed each other to improve Ferrari, despite their rivalry on the track.
That's pretty cool.
I thought so, too.
What's fascinating is that Leclerc specifically mentioned how Sainz Jr. played a key role in Ferrari's progress, even though they had some really intense battles out there.
Yeah, they did.
It shows a level of maturity and respect, that's not always evident in such a competitive environment.
You're right about that.
It's like it's really something special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
so
totally.
okay, so
Okay, so
it really highlights that complex dynamic, between teammates in Formula One.
Yeah.
Like they're competing for the same championship, but they also have to work together to advance the team.
Absolutely.
It's a delicate balance for sure.
It really makes you appreciate the mental strength these drivers need
Yeah, for sure.
to perform at such a high level while dealing with all these external pressures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Steam pressure. Our next story takes us to Mick Schumacher.
And the legacy of his father, Michael Schumacher. One of the articles dives into Mick's reflections on his dad's career and the lessons he learned from the legendary 7-time world champion.
Wow.
And it's particularly poignant because this article was published on the anniversary of Michael Schumacher's skiing accident.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine the weight of that legacy.
Right. Especially given the circumstances.
Absolutely.
The article shares a story about a young Mick racing karts.
Okay.
He braked late into a corner, gaining a lot of time, and he proudly told his father about it.
I bet.
But you know what Michael said?
What?
Yes, but you should have braked like that in every corner.
Wow. Classic Michael Schumacher.
Right. Always pushing for perfection.
It must have been incredible for Mick to have that kind of mentorship.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine?
No.
It's amazing.
Did he talk about how that shaped his approach to racing?
He did.
Okay.
He talked about how his father instilled in him a deep understanding of the technical aspects of racing, things like car setup and data analysis.
Interesting.
He also emphasized the importance of physical and mental preparation. These are lessons that have stayed with Mick throughout his entire career, even as he's exploring different motorsport avenues.
It's inspiring to see how he's carrying on that legacy. Yeah. Both in terms of racing and in his strength of character.
I agree.
He entered the world of Formula One just a year after his father's accident.
Right.
And has had to navigate immense pressure and scrutiny.
Absolutely. It's a testament to his resilience and determination to forge his own path while honoring his family's history.
For sure. And speaking of Michael Schumacher, one of the articles also touched upon his current condition.
Oh, yeah.
And the family's desire for privacy.
It's understandable.
Yeah, Corinna Schumacher, Michael's wife, released a statement emphasizing that Michael is here differently but here.
That's nice.
She spoke about the family's ongoing efforts to support his recovery and maintain their bond. They've been incredibly strong and united throughout this whole ordeal.
I can't even imagine.
It's a heartbreaking situation.
Right.
And it's totally understandable that they want to keep the details private.
Yeah.
It reminds us that behind the glamour and excitement of Formula One, there are real people facing real-life challenges.
Yeah, it really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Like you said, behind all the glamour and excitement of Formula One, there are real people dealing with real-life stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And those personal stories, they can be just as captivating as the on-track action. Sometimes even more so, I think.
Right. They add a whole other layer to our understanding of these drivers.
Yeah.
And the sport as a whole.
Exactly. It's like getting a glimpse into what makes these guys tick. What drives them, what motivates them, and how they handle those tough moments.
It makes their accomplishments on the track even more impressive when you think about everything else they're dealing with.
Thinking about Sainz Jr. and Leclerc, it's interesting how their relationship evolved over time. There were definitely some tense moments between them, but ultimately they figured out how to work together.
Yeah.
And push each other to make Ferrari better.
Leclerc even said that Sainz Jr.'s input was crucial for the team's progress.
I know, right?
It's one thing to acknowledge your teammates' talent, but it's another thing entirely to recognize how their presence pushed you to become a better driver.
For sure.
It says a lot about Leclerc's character.
It really does. It's a great example of how a healthy rivalry can actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
It can push everyone to grow, both individually and as a team.
Absolutely.
Makes you wonder what we'll see next season with all the driver changes coming up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is Formula One, after all. Change is the only constant. New rivalries will pop up. New partnerships will form. It'll be interesting to see how these drivers adapt and evolve in this constantly shifting environment.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways you think our listeners should remember?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways for me is the power of resilience. We saw it with Sainz Jr. staying professional after losing his seat. We saw it with Mick Schumacher carrying the weight of his family's legacy. And we saw it with the Schumacher family facing unimaginable adversity. These stories show us that it's possible to adapt and overcome even the toughest challenges.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that setbacks are part of life, but it's how we respond to them that really matters. Sometimes those difficult moments can lead to incredible growth and self-discovery.
Absolutely. Here's a final thought I'll leave you with. How much do you think a driver's personal life affects their performance on the track? Do these stories give you a new perspective on the pressures they face?
We'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Head over to the F1 Blog YouTube channel and let us know in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your fellow F1 fans. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.